Hey y'all, this is Rick. Welcome back to my channel, Rick Loves Maria. Um, I'm excited because I got some replies back on my last video that I uploaded, and so I'm glad to have some interesting stuff to talk about. Steve B, he's in the same situation where I am, where his Filipina is apparently stuck in the Philippines. They did the K1 visa like we did, and they're waiting like we are. And so it's good to know that there's other people out there that are in the same situation. I feel sorry for you guys too, knowing that there's other people that are dealing with the same struggle that we are. He drives for Prime. He says, I see a lot of the trucks around. They usually pass me because I'm driving for rail. Our trucks are governed at 65. So, yeah, I do see a lot of your trucks around. I'm up in New York right now, but this load is headed for Kentucky. Florence, Kentucky, I think, is just south of Cincinnati. So I got to go through Ohio. I'm basically going down 90 and then I think 71 down towards Cincinnati over the next couple days. So, yeah, it'd be nice if we could meet up and talk about our K1 visa issues somehow, somewhere. I do know some other people who are in the same situation as well. I don't know when it's going to get resolved. It's kind of depressing, actually. We've a year ago, March, we were just about to schedule our interview, and then suddenly everything got canceled and shut down. We did manage to get her physical done, but she has a K2, a daughter. We have a daughter, Zoe, and so both of them had to get the physical done, and then suddenly everything got shut down and we were ready to do the interview at the embassy. And so all of a sudden everything got shut down. So anyway, that's where we're at. We're stuck. And so I'd like to compare notes with other people and see if they got any suggestions and things that they're doing that might help each other out. We can't what is it? There's like a couple situations, if there's a medical thing or if you have a K2 that's aging out, 18, you can apply for, what is it? Some sort of you can apply for something, and they might put you on a priority. We don't have either one of those situations that are special, so there's nothing we can do. We basically just have to sit and wait, unfortunately. So, yeah, I'd like to meet up with you, Steve, if we can, somehow, somewhere. It's tough to meet up with other truck drivers on the road. We're always scheduled pretty tight to be where we got to go. There's not a whole lot of flexibility unless you're on like a 34 reset. But then when I am doing a 10-hour or 34, I pretty much have to stay where I'm at. But I do go. I spend a lot of time driving back and forth on, it seems like, 80 in Ohio. They send me over here toward New England, it seems like, quite a bit. And we have a big terminal in Gary, Indiana. So from there we go around Chicago a lot. So it's nice to meet you, Steve. I hope we can meet up sometime, and that would be awesome. Cot Jockey 466. I really appreciate you helping me with the pointers on how to get the the comments turned on. I couldn't figure out for the longest time what I had done wrong on the comments. And by saying that these videos were intended for children, I inadvertently killed my own comments. So, lesson learned there. And yeah, I appreciate it. I thought about, is there a way I can get to the Philippines earlier? My plans are to retire at age 62 and then get to the Philippines after I retire. I don't know if there's a way I can do that earlier than expected, because you want to when you turn 62, like if my birthday is in July, you have to wait another month until the end of August in order to do the actual retirement process at your Social Security office. And when you do that process, I mean, you can talk to them ahead of time, but when you do that process, you want to make sure that the money starts flowing and that actually hits your bank, and the deposit actually makes into your bank. Now, yeah, I could do that process from the Philippines. I could retire and just be in the Philippines and not work, and just once I get that age, I could just show up at, I think, either Cebu or the U.S. Embassy in Manila, and I think they have people that help you with that Social Security process, and they'll be glad to help you get that working and set up direct deposit into a bank account. Even there in the Philippines, you can direct deposit into a dollar account in the Philippines, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing. And then you can set up a separate peso bank account at the same bank, and you can just transfer funds back and forth from one to the other. So, that's a possibility. Our original plan was to try to get Maria here from the Philippines and at least let her come see life in America. Same thing with Zoe. For a few years, I was hoping about 7 years. I mean, she may not get enough time in to the Social Security system where she can get Social Security, but I was kind of hoping that she could enjoy life in America for a little while and see what things are like. After all, I did buy her a pink Volkswagen Beetle that she hasn't had a chance to sit in or drive. So that's kind of disappointing. I'm kind of hoping I could give her that. Now, I could ship that car to the Philippines, but it may cost more than the car is worth to ship to the Philippines. It is pretty much just sitting there, not getting a whole lot of mileage on it. At some point in the future, in 7 years, I plan to sell it when I move to the Philippines and take the proceeds and, of course, buy a vehicle in the Philippines. Probably a Hyundai Starex van, because we really need a van over there with all the kids that we have. That's kind of the plan. And I have another vehicle here in the States. I have a VW EOS. It's also convertible, hardtop convertible, but they don't seem to be holding their value as well as the Beetle. If I'd known that the Beetle was going to be the thing, I would have bought 2 of them. But the EOS was a hardtop convertible. It was a very expensive car by Volkswagen when it was new. It's actually in the shop right now being repaired. My sister had an accident with it and hit a deer, and it's probably fixed today. Today's the 19th. It's supposed to be getting back today from being repaired. I think it had $5,000 worth of repairs done to it, so it ought to look like new. But yeah, if I thought I could get to the Philippines earlier and have money to afford to relax and retire, I would try to find a way to do that. I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to do that. I'm going to probably have to work right up till 62 in a month in order to retire early at 62. But that's not bad. I can still, with the Social Security that they estimate that I'll get, I can still live like a king in the Philippines. The statement says that I would get each month. So I should be okay with that. Um, yeah, I'd like to be over there. I miss them terribly. That's the main thing, is I miss my family terribly, terribly much. And would love to be able to hug them and spend time with them. That's really been the hardest thing, is not being able to hold hands and hug Maria and just spend time together. You know, I'm not easy to live with. You know, I'll admit that. I'm I'm difficult to be with. I make funny noises. I don't smell great. Sometimes I say stupid stuff. But hey, I'm 55. I'll be 55 in a month. I don't think I'm about to change now. I'm too old and set in my ways. What else is going on? Christina Campbell. She wanted me to do a video on pay, on rail pay. Now, I can't really complain about the pay from rail. I went through the Get Your CDL program in Connally, Georgia in November. Did 3 weeks with my trainer in December. Got my truck January 1st. So I'm coming up on 6 months. So what rail has is called a scorecard. And each quarter you get graded on your scorecard. I think the first quarter, I got graded as like a 7 out of 10. And rail has already given 2 raises since I started. I actually started working for them November. And so one of them was a safety increase, and I can't remember what the other one was, but it was fairly recent. Just a few weeks ago, they gave a raise. And what they do a raise is your per mileage rate. Now, when I get my paycheck, right now it's coming out to roughly about 42 cents a mile. Do I wish it was more? Heck yeah. I wish it was more. And I could go to work with another company and start off earning more. But I'm obligated to rail for 120,000 miles when I signed up for the Get Your CDL program. I owe them 120,000. Right now I'm at about 57,000 miles, so I'm almost halfway through that. I may have that obligation completed by the end of December. I hope that's my goal, is to get that completed by the end of December. At that point, I don't have to stay with rail, but if I quit now, they'll send me a bill for $3,500, or basically half of the $7,000 training that they put a value of that at about $7,000. They'll send me a bill for $3,500, and I'll have to pay that, which I don't want to do. So I'm going to stick with rail at least until the 120,000 is done. I'm actually trying to get back in the Southeast. I'm actually trying to get to Florida, and I've been looking at houses in Florida. Right now is not a good time to be trying to buy a house in Florida. Everything is going for way more than it's worth. There's way more buyers out there than there are sellers. And it's just crazy. It's crazy right now, the values. that they're putting on homes. Even little rundown shacks in Florida without any floor, they're asking like 60,000 for it. It's just insane. And I don't know if I want to do that right now. The best time to buy a house is when it's the other way, when there's more houses for sale than there are buyers, and there's more sellers. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'd like to be somewhere south so that I don't have to spend the winter dealing with the snow and ice like I did last year. I mean, I can do it. I can drive in the snow and ice, but I don't want to drive this big truck on snow and ice. I got lucky last year. There was a couple places where it was a little slippery, and I managed to either get parked or not slip, and crash. So I was pretty lucky. Don't get me wrong. And I have had experience driving on the stuff. I grew up in New England, so I don't want to see too many more cold winters. I don't like the cold anymore. The pay is okay. I can't complain. There's weeks when I make $1,000. If I take some days off, the following paycheck is maybe $500 because I wasn't out driving that much. And so that's disappointing when I get a paycheck that's not as big. I was doing IT work for the past 30 years, and I was bringing home roughly about $900 a week. Basically, based on 4 weeks in a month, I was bringing home about $3,600 a month. With rail, I'm basically bringing home the same thing. My first week that I went solo, I earned $950. I got 2,800 miles that first week, and I brought home $950. I mean, that's not bad. I can't complain about the pay. I'm just hoping that it continues to go up. At the end of my obligation to rail, and I got the 120,000 miles, then I have to decide if I want to stay with rail, or I could go to another company. But the good thing about being a truck driver, I was doing IT work. I was specializing in electronic medical records before. And when you specialize like that, there's not too many jobs around that you can get. Okay? There just wasn't very many IT jobs. Yeah, I have an IT degree, an accounting degree, computers and accounting. Don't need it. I can do better driving the truck. I was making $63,000 a year doing IT. I can do better driving the truck. I will probably make the same this year driving the truck as I did last year doing IT. Yeah. And I'm sure, see, I talked with one company down in Florida. After having a year of experience, they're willing to start you out at 51 cents a mile, which is almost 9 cents more a mile than I'm making now. So if I jump ship, I could get a raise. But are they going to ask me to do something that's not safe? The grass isn't always greener on the other side of the fence. If I jump ship to another company, they might want me to do something that I don't agree with, that I don't feel is safe. The thing about rail is their cornerstone is safety. And that's why I picked rail, to go with rail, because I'm all about being safe too. I want to survive. I don't want to take any chances. I want to be able to make it 7 years and retire to the Philippines and enjoy life over there. I don't want to get killed in some accident. Like I heard last week, some guy wasn't paying attention, either on his phone. This was in Columbus, Ohio. Ran into the back of a flatbed, cut his legs off. He died a day later. That's just an example. But I've seen a couple of wrecks. I saw one truck laid over on its side, went too fast into the curve. I saw a truck up in Massachusetts on the Mass Pike, hit a concrete barrier, going too fast. I saw him crash. I couldn't believe he was okay. I stopped. I called 911 and opened the door, and he jumped out of there and he was okay, but I was shocked. And so from what I've seen, if it doesn't scare you, then something's wrong with you. And so, yeah, it scares me. My job is dangerous. And you got to have respect for it in order to do it the correct way. So, thanks, Christina Campbell, for that request. I can't complain about rail. I would say if you're interested, go check with them. Depending on your experience, they would hire you. Depending on your record and your experience, they would hire you. I would get some sort of a referral bonus. I don't know exactly how much that is, and they would be glad to hire you as long as you have a good, safe record. But I think it's a good company to work for, or I wouldn't be working for them. Other companies that I talked to, I talked to CR England, and I talked to US Express, and I chose rail over those others. I'm sure there's other companies out there that are good and safe as well. I saw a Prime truck wrecked down near the South Carolina-Georgia state line. I think some of the trucks that I've seen wrecked, I've seen drivers, it looks like they just fell asleep, and where the road turned, they just kept going straight, like they just fell asleep with the wheel. So anyway, I'm getting long and winded here, but yeah, rail's a good company. Your pay would be different than mine. I can't tell you, but what it would be. But if you call in, say that Rick S in truck 1260 referred you, and maybe I'll get a bonus or something. But yeah, good company to work for. Okay, all right. Thanks for watching. Y'all stay safe, and I'm gonna head to Kentucky tomorrow, and I'll leave me some more comments. I really appreciate it. It's been fun. I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.